We have become farmers who did not farm for the past 10 years. The people who denied us that opportunities are not farmers themselves. They are not farmers. They are criminals.
I am driving to a farm called Nervanda in the small agricultural town of Dedurans in the Western Cape. The town is renowned as the country's biggest exporter of table grapes. It is here that a farming cooperative called the Big Five was selected in 2013 to manage the farm under government's Proactive Land Acquisition Strategy, or PLAS. Under this policy, the state leases commercial agricultural land to potential black farmers and managers who will make the farms profitable with the assistance of agricultural companies that are supposed to assist as strategic partners.
The dream was to have a successful farm, a model of black excellence in the valley. A farm that will take everybody on the farm to the highest levels of development.
But in March this year, the Big Five were evicted from Nervanda. This after a court battle lasting almost 2 years from 2020. But there was a time in 2018 when the farm could have been saved. This was after a damning forensic report in 2016 that exposed corruption by department officials and the strategic partner. But as far back as 2014, the Big Five were already embroiled in conflict with the department, despite the fact that they had been approved as lessees on a national level on the 25th of July 2013.
The officials are the people who have better information as to why we are now being evicted. But as for us, what we knew was that our project was approved and we got here through the front door.
It is an ongoing saga of alleged corruption of land reform policies that I've been investigating since 2015. This latest episode remains the surface of the alleged cesspool. But for now, the efforts of the Big Five to remain on Nervanda have failed. They must vacate the farm by May this year. This is the one trip that I dreaded making, revisiting a farm that almost 10 years ago was supposed to be a beacon of land reform, a model of farming success, a symbol of what could be achieved. I have come to visit 3 members of the cooperative as they pack up their belongings, bent and battle-scarred from years of stress and struggle, but still refusing to be beaten.
Economic spirits and soul live on, though they were destroyed by other people whose interest was not in developing the farm.
The farm itself mirrors the toll this battle has taken on its beneficiaries. It is a shell of its former glory, the vines withered, the land eroded, its infrastructure vandalized. The farmhouse windows are boarded up. Inside, doors have been wrenched from their hinges.
I can't believe it. The hospital is gone. I'm serious.
Serious?
I didn't see it. And this one is still standing.
No,
Yeah, even
there's
this
no
one.
door as well.
Even this one is gone. And this is my book. I will try. Yes. I remember reading this book that there shouldn't be any mountain that is too steep, that is too high to be climbed, or too steep to be. This is my courage. That's where my courage came from.
So how did it get to this? In 2012, the farm and its infrastructure was sold to government for over 20 million rand by SAFE, a multinational Dutch fruit exporter. SAFE appointed Bono, its black empowerment arm, as the farm's strategic partner to run the farm. Through a shell company called Quickvest, Safe had bought the farm for 7 million rand, receiving a hefty profit through a practice called farm flipping.
Safe positions itself as an intermediary in property markets, so effectively they buy farms and then resell it to the government for land reform purposes, often at a considerable profit. The second business stream is that they form what are called strategic partnerships with communities that have obtained farms under land restitution and redistribution, and they're able to mobilize those partnerships towards securing fruit for their export channels, making management and marketing fees, charging interest on loans, obtaining government grants, that sort of thing. Safe and Bono did actually have fair trade certification.
Dr. Melanie Somerville is a Canada-born expert on farmland investment. She has conducted extensive research on elite capture of land reform globally and in South Africa by multinationals allegedly in cahoots with corrupt government officials.
In reality, what seems to be happening is that these companies are effectively manipulating South Africa's land reform and empowerment programming, much to the detriment of the communities that are intended to benefit from these programs.
The relationship between the Big Five, Safe and Bono, quickly soured, and the Big Five requested another strategic partner, to which they were entitled in terms of the policy. But the multinational remained on the farm, and the Big Five never received a lease nor returns from the harvest in order to develop the farm.
Certain people at a certain political level felt that maybe we were the wrong people who came onto the farm, because also we were the arrogant people who ask questions.
In 2016, a damning forensic report compiled by a company called Nexus found that Safe and Bono were in an inherently corrupt relationship with department officials. But the report also found that the Big Five had been appointed unlawfully as beneficiaries. As revealed in a previous special assignment investigation, this finding directly gave the department the justification to repeal the Big Five's original approval at national level in order to evict them. All they have left now are a decade of dreams crammed into boxes and plastic bags.
We spend our strength and our energies fighting for something that was supposed to be a smooth program for the upcoming farmers. Other people's dreams comes true, but the other people's dreams, like mine, they never come true.
Since 2020, the Big Five have been summoned to the Cape Town High Court several times by the Special Investigation Unit to face eviction.
The department approached us. I think it must be after they had done an external investigation through a company or something to look into the investigation of this. And we did a proclamation in 2017, which is Proclamation R24 of 2017.
This was during years of the Big Five's desperate appeals to successive ministers of land reform, even the presidency, to intervene on their behalf, but without success.
The farm has broken down. Since 2017, there is nothing happening on the farm. And my greatest worry is that the vines are suffering. And obviously, the rot that is going on here has a potential of affecting other neighboring farms also.
Their first appearance in court was 3 days before Christmas 2020, in the midst of the COVID-19 lockdown. But their case wasn't even on the court roll.
We, the Big Five, hope for this matter to be cleared up so that we can just be given our lease that we've been waiting for the past 8 years. This whole thing has brought angst, has brought death, has brought everything, and total destruction of our beautiful farm.
They have also been represented by several lawyers, including human rights lawyer Sabelo Sibanda.
If they had been given that lease agreement, they would have had the security of tenure, and they would have been able, on that basis, to be able to attract funders.
But Sibanda, like those before him, withdrew at the 11th hour. He has not responded to our requests for comment.
I can count my fingers for the number of lawyers that we approached. Then ultimately, on the fourth time when we were asked to appear in court, we never had a lawyer. We didn't have a lawyer at all. Even the legal aid ones we couldn't get.
What is unprecedented about the eviction order is that it was initiated by the SIU and not the Department of Land Reform, which was the de facto owner of Novanda. But in court papers, the minister is cited, together with the Big Five, as one of the respondents.
We have got the powers to put matters before the courts in our name or on behalf of an organization. This is the first case of its kind that we have achieved, and that is why it was important for us to make noise about it.
Court papers and an official statement by the SIU reveal that the principal reason for the eviction is that the original appointment of the Big Five was unlawful and that they were not qualified to run the farm.
We have said, even in our report, that it was very clear that these people were given preference. One of the first things that happened there was that when they acquired this farm in 2012, we believed that it was premature. Then from there, it was very problematic in the sense that after they have acquired the farm, they then ignored some of the people that were already on the beneficiary list in preference to these ones. Therefore, it was very clear that what they did was unlawful.
The cooperative included a struggle veteran and community leader, a financial manager, an agronomist, and an administrator. They had managerial skills and gender parity, as recommended by the policy.
When you listen to the report given by the lawyer, the SIU lawyer, really it did not even touch anywhere about the history of the Big Five, where we come from, when did we come in, and how did we come in.
When I went to visit Rwanda, what I saw was very distressing. Firstly, what was clear is that incredibly valuable vineyards were withering and dying. This is years worth and tens of millions of rands worth of capital investment going down the drain. They don't have any production support. And in fact, what I was struck by is that as a group, they have quite extensive skills and experience that are relevant to this project. So they don't necessarily need a strategic partner. What they need is proper support.
In its successful court application for the eviction of the Big Five from Novanda, the SIU states that because the Big Five refused to cooperate with Bono, Bono left the farm in 2015.
We were able to prove to the court some of these findings that we have got, and the big one, among others, being the fact that the agreement ended in 2015, but they still continue to occupy the place illegally so.
This contradicts the Nexus forensic report that was conducted in 2016, when Bono was still on the farm. In fact, Safe and Bono left the farm after the release of the Nexus forensic report that found them to be in a corrupt relationship with department officials.
Bono did not do exactly what the department said he was going to do. He failed to impart the knowledge to us, whether in any sphere. He just kept us out completely.
and 2017 internal departmental correspondence shows that despite the Nexus report's recommendations of criminal investigations into Safe and Bono's roles on Nirvanda and other farms, the department feared that they would not make a full financial disclosure and would extract as much as they could from Nirvanda before leaving.
We also called for them to present us with the financial statements and all this kind of things, but they just refused.
Since 2016, Safe and Bono have refused Special Assignment's requests for an interview.
Evans Navondo told us that he gave the money to the department, and we expected that the department, when such situations come to the fore, they will come in and save the situation, but they did not do that.
In the wake of Safe and Bono's departure from Nirvanda, the farm was left without electricity and water. The permanent farm workers were forced to find seasonal work.
The farm stood still for about 6 months without any work, without electricity, without water, and especially without work for the workforce.
The Big Five had also come into conflict with the department over the role of the workers on Nirvanda. In terms of the policy, the farm workers must be assured of security of tenure, but the department insisted that Nirvanda's 28 workers become equal partners with the Big Five, despite the small size of the farm, and therefore its limits on potential profitability.
And we would say, what you demand from us is to give them 50% of the farm, but we do not have the farm. We are not greedy people, and we know that when we came here, we knew that there are people who have been here on the farm for ages, and that we've got to share. But in a situation like this, there must be a hierarchy. There must be somebody who gives directive, who takes responsibility to run the business.
The order for this 50-50 partnership came during 2014 in the wake of the eruption of a farm workers' protest in the valley and in the build-up to local elections in the DA-run province. The Big Five believe the government wanted to appease the farm workers to get votes for the ANC.
Currently, there's the discussion on the land issue, which is a big matter. Some of them are making it a voting football.
But by 2018, after the departure of Safe and Bono, with the assistance of a local farmer, the Big Five and the farm workers succeeded in producing a harvest together for the local market.
It has always been in our own business plan. We call it a development plan for the farm and the farm workers. We had planned that in order to, to develop the farm community, we need to start from the young children. Because what we have observed while we are here and when we talk to the workers, they are all working the farms.
But again, without adequate government funds, everything came to a halt. Yet in the eviction court papers, the issue of 7 million rand was raised that had allegedly been provided by the department in August 2018 to help revive the farm. This amount apparently went missing, despite the department appointing a financial manager to oversee the funds.
7 million? Where does this one come from? And then the lawyer, when she talked about the 7 million, she never referred the judge to anything, to any record or a statement or anything.
It is between this financial manager and the department. They will have to explain what happened, because we were worried about the reason for the release of this amount.
Since Special Assignment began these investigations in 2015, We've repeatedly tried to get in touch with the Department of Rural Development, and they in turn have repeatedly ignored our requests for an interview. In fact, it's got to the point where they don't even acknowledge receipt of my emails. Perhaps they think by ignoring the situation it will go away, but it won't. And although the SIU conducted its own independent investigations, it was clearly the 2016 Nexus forensic report that provided the impetus for the department to begin eviction proceedings against the Big Five. But the credibility of this Nexus report has now been tainted. One of its investigators, Dwayne Bauer, has displayed a shocking conflict of interest. Special Assignment obtained an email from 2017 in which he attempts to bribe the Big Five with a so-called donation of 10 million rand if they leave the farm. The Big Five refused, and of course, the money never materialized.
Dwayne was a wolf in a sheepskin, because when he came, it was like he was sort of having sympathies with us and then wanting to know everything, to the effect that at some point we ended up signing things that legally we could have not signed. Once he gave us his money, we must move out of the farm.
Bauer also tried to be their mediator while allegedly trying to play Bono and the Big Five off one another for financial gain, as this 2019 telephone conversation reveals. First of all, I saw the email that you sent to the Big Five, that you'd offered to make a donation of 10 million rand to them, out of your own pocket.
But why not?
You've caused immeasurable pain to people who are already going through an absolute nightmare. What was your agenda, Dwayne?
Okay.
If no one is prepared to help, okay, who will help them? Who will finance it?
You seem to be playing all sides. You were playing rural development, you were playing Bono's side, you were playing Big Five, then you were trying to play me.
Ek het meetings gehad met Bono. In daai meeting het hulle vir my gevra, want ek het vir hulle gesê, geef my 240,000 rand, maar as jy my nie wil betaal nie, want dit net vir 6 maande, dit is die 40,000 rand 'n maand.
You subsequently called me for a 150,000 rand loan.
Yeah. At that time. Yeah.
We have been unable to trace Mr. Bauer to give him a further right of reply. For several years, the SIU has probed rampant corruption in land reform, amounting to billions on farms throughout South Africa, mainly by officials and their politically connected pals. There have been few prosecutions. It seems the wrath of government and the law has been unleashed on the very beneficiaries whose lives were meant to improve from land reform.
We've been together even long before we came to Nirvana. It's not going to break us up. They did not build us. We built ourselves up. We know how to continue, and we are still going to continue.
What I've realized is that when you are coming to anything that has government, you need to have your eyes open, and then you need to know what you are getting into. And also be aware that once you ask a lot of questions, you are the enemy. You must just do as you are told.
Through our struggle, we have taught people a lot about the Department of Rural Development. I came in proudly, and I'll go out the same way.